Tamil Nadu region is one of India's largest religious complexes, the Temple of Meenakshi. At the first light of dawn, when the sun rises over the city of Madurai, the immense towers of this extraordinary Hindu temple appear in the distance like sacred mountains in the center of the city. The thousands of sculptures which decorate them are representations of the pantheon of Indian gods which have always looked over the inhabitants of the Tamil city. The temple honors the most famous couple of Hinduism, the god Shiva and his companion Meenakshi, after whom the temple was named. According to the legend, the divine spouses would have celebrated their marriage here and then elected to stay in two small sanctuaries separated at each end of the temple. For thousands of years, every evening, Shiva has crossed the space that separates him from his beloved to celebrate his wedding night. As the city begins to wake up, in the still deserted temple, the Brahmin's song resounds. A song taken from the Vedas, the sacred Indian texts that are the oldest in the world. There are about 20 priests who live permanently in Meenakshi, serving the deities whom they nourish and clothe daily. Brahmin Raju Patar arrived here as a novice at the age of 15. His whole priestly life will be devoted to this temple.
Through my prayers, I create an energy between myself and the divinities who are present here. This energy is then shared with all the faithful who come to the temple.
If the Brahmins are at the service of the needs of the gods, they are not the only interceders. In Hinduism, every man and woman has the power to directly invoke the divinities.
All of the Hindu rituals allow to awaken and activate the five senses of the human being. The candlelight reinforces the eyesight. The smoke of incense reinforces the sense of smell. Hearing or listening to the litany of prayers, called mantras, strengthens hearing. And the offerings of flowers, rice powder, or ghee oil allow the refining of touch and taste.
The immense Meenakshi Temple stands proud in the middle of the city of Madurai and its 1 million inhabitants. With an area of more than 6 hectares, it is the heart and lungs of the city. The walls of its multiple enclosures mark the symbolic border between gods and men. It's 10 a.m. and the city is bustling with activity. The prosperity of the population is entirely dependent on the temple, one of the most visited in India. No less than 15,000 visitors a day and up to 1 million at major festivals. From the small sanctuary erected more than 5,000 years ago, the Tamil emperors extended the temple, dynasty after dynasty, in gigantic proportions. And they erected the 11 gopurams, these huge gateway towers that are a renowned part of Meenakshi. At 60 meters, the last tower, built in the 17th century, broke the height record of all Hindu temples. Archaeologist Dr. Vedeshalam is closely interested in the origins of this atypical temple.
இந்த 12 கோபுரங்களிலே
Among these 12 towers, 8 are original.
கோபுரங்கள்
They're the ones which were built at the very beginning.
கட்டப்பட்டவை. பின்பு வந்த மண்டலங்கள்
Then the emperors succeeded each other, and they all wanted to outdo each other.
அதிகமாக இந்த கோயிலுக்கு செய்ய வேண்டும் என்கின்ற
They built more and more towers, some larger than others.
பெரும் கோபுரங்களையும் எழுப்பினார்கள். அவ்வாறு எழுப்பிய
The last 4 are placed at the 4 compass points.
திசைகளிலும் கட்டப்பட்டிருக்கின்றன.
The whole pantheon of the Hindu gods is joyfully spread out in great colorful chaos. Color is synonymous with vitality. Moreover, the temple is newly repainted every 15 years. In India, people don't like the idea of dilapidation. Color is light emanating from the world of the gods. It is said that in Meenakshi, there are 33,000 statues representing the 33,000 manifestations of the 3 major deities of Hinduism: Brahma, the creator; Vishnu, the protector; and Shiva, the destroyer, but also the one who renews life. He is the most revered Tamil god.
இந்த வகையில் ஒவ்வொரு அரசரும்
Each Tamil emperor had only one objective when he came to power:
ஏதாவது ஒன்றை செய்ய வேண்டும், புதிதாக
to preserve the existing rooms
கோயிலை
and
இடிக்காமல்
build new ones.
அதிகப்படியாக விரிவாக்கம் செய்ய வேண்டும் என்ற எண்ணத்தோடு
With each new room, he also had to build the adjoining corridors with more and more decorations and more pillars.
தேவையை கருதி அலங்காரத்தோடு அதிகமான தூண்களை உடைய
What makes this temple so exceptionally unique is that it's dedicated to a woman, the goddess Meenakshi. Geeta Pai, professor at the University of Berkeley, is particularly interested in this female figure who is so important she's had a temple dedicated to her.
She's popular in Madurai because people here in Madurai think of her not only as their goddess, but also as the daughter or the queen, the Pandyan queen, which is a dynasty that had its origins and its center here in Madurai.
And so, history blends with legend. Is Meenakshi a historical figure? A princess who ruled over southern India? Or, as legend has it, is she an invincible warrior turned goddess thanks to Shiva's love?
The second Pandyan king and his wife were having difficulty bearing children. And that's when they were advised to do a fire sacrifice to produce a son.
To their great surprise, a 3-year-old girl came out of the sacrificial fire with 3 breasts and fish eyes. She was named Meenakshi, the beautiful one with the eyes of fish.
And that's when a voice from the heavens telling the couple, don't worry, train your daughter as a son. Train her in all the martial arts, how to use weapons, how to be a good warrior. When she meets her future husband, the 3rd breast will fall.
Meenakshi became an invincible and fierce warrior, knowing how to expertly handle weapons. One day, she went to fight on Mount Kailash, home of the god Shiva.
And when she gets there and faces Shiva, her third breast falls, and she realizes at that moment that he is to be her husband.
The wedding was celebrated in Madurai in great splendor. Meenakshi abandoned the fight, and the divine spouses took up residence in the temple.
Here in Madurai, because she's not seen only as his consort, she's seen as a powerful goddess in her own right. And that's why this particular temple is unusual.
At the beginning of this afternoon in the northern district of Madurai, the flower market is in full swing. Flowers have a symbolic meaning in Hinduism. Each god has his own color. For Shiva, it's white, a symbol of light and creation. And especially in the Tamil Nadu region, jasmine buds are exceptional, sought after by people all over the world for their subtle and delicate fragrance. Woven in the form of garlands as offerings to the gods, jasmine is a symbol of the key moment in the life of Hindu women, their marriage. Pakiyam, like many Tamil women, come here every day to shop for the best deals.
How much is it? I'll do it for 400 rupees. 400? They're very good quality. Okay.
She will make her garlands around the temple in the afternoon when the heat drops and the faithful are more and more numerous. For Hindu women, offering flowers to the goddess Meenakshi is to ensure their protection and the happiness of their union.
I've been selling flowers since I was 5. My husband died only 6 years after we were married. I paid my children's school fees with the money I received from selling the flowers. Now they're in a better situation. My daughter's name is Abitha. She's in the 6th grade. I'm not worried about myself or my children as long as the Temple of Meenakshi is there.
Many women have taken up this custom of working with flowers, which today has become a specialty of the city. They are organized in true female confederations. The older ones teach the novices this special skill to preserve the tradition.
The flowers that people buy from me are often used for prayers for the Meenakshi Temple. The fact that my flowers are used for prayers makes me proud. It's thanks to Meenakshi that we're still alive. As long as she's here, I'm safe. It's 2,000 rupees. For a meter? We'll take half a meter. Can you cut it? That's all for today.
It is customary when entering the temple to at first greet Ganesh, the son of Shiva and Meenakshi. He is the god of wisdom, prudence, and benevolence, covered with ashes by the faithful, as if to ensure his constant resurrection. Certain gestures specific to his cult, such as pulling one's ears several times while bowing, would aim to awaken certain key points of the human body. There is no collective cult in Meenakshi. Each one expresses his deep devotion in his own way and in complete freedom. Man's relationship with the gods is unique and intimate.
ஆனால் கோயில் என்பது ஒரு மனிதனானவன் தன்னை
Temples must be perceived by people as a place of peace.
எவனொருவன் தன்னை
People who have understood this see that everything here is a sign of peace.
அப்பொழுதே அவனுடைய இலக்கானது
This temple gives people a perspective of a better life, of peace, and also of comfort.
தன்னுடைய இல்வாழ்க்கையில் இருக்கக்கூடிய இகபர சௌபாகியங்களும் அருளுகின்ற இந்த மீனாட்சி
The temple belongs to no one.
அவர்களுடைய
This is everyone's house.
மோட்சத்தை கொடுக்கக்கூடியவர்களாகவும் இருக்கிறார்கள்.
In an India long divided by a rigid caste system, Meenakshi became the model of popular and triumphant Hinduism, a temple today accessible to all sections of the population.
This temple is popular for the Tamil people, especially for women, because they feel if Meenakshi was able to get a good husband, that they also, by worshiping her, they themselves would get a good husband as well.
In this temple devoted to the glory of love, the sculptures are the living incarnation of the divinities. They are here, infinitely multiplied, each with its story. And we get lost in this complex mythology of names, figures, and forms. But how does a sculpture become a divinity? And where are these gods created? A few kilometers away, the village of Mamallapuram is famous throughout India. It is here that these divine creatures, half men, half animals, which have always adorned Hindu temples, are fashioned. Not far from there, immense massifs of high-quality granite rise up, making this a legendary place. The Pallava dynasty, which ruled the region for a long time, used to have its idols carved there.
The statues began to be built right here in Mamallapuram in the 6th century. They were built by our artist ancestors. Nowadays, there are fewer and fewer people to perpetuate this tradition. To remedy this, the government of Tamil Nadu has opened a school specializing in the conservation of historic monuments. I joined the school in 1980. When I finished my studies, I became a teacher here. My work has developed well, and to date I employ 20 artists. Together we have already made more than 1,000 statues.
A job that requires talent, but above all, patience. Very thick granite must be worked millimeter by millimeter.
To make a 50-centimeter statue, the artist needs 5 days. For 1-meter statues, he needs 25 days. For 1.5 meter statues, 2 sculptors are needed, and they need 3 months.
In the large main workshop, the sculptors hammer the stone tirelessly. All around them, the future gods lie on the ground, waiting for the big day. Once finished, the sculpture must be consecrated before finding its place in the temple. After 48 days immersed in water, a Brahmin ritually scratches its eyes with a golden needle, invoking the divinity to enter the stone body and give it life.
First, we begin with prayers. Then we open the eyes of the statue. Then we bring the statue and install it in the temple.
So by opening his eyes, the work of art is transformed into a living God who can look at and understand men. It is early evening, and the air is festive. The god Shiva will leave his sanctuary soon to join his wife for the night. But tonight is also the Tamil New Year. The faithful are even more numerous than usual, and it is customary to wear a new garment to greet the deities. The gods' sculptures are more fragrant and colorful than ever. It's a signal to begin. Shiva's statuette, hidden in his gold-embroidered palanquin, begins his journey through the temple. Shiva makes a small stop every evening to greet Ganesh, his beloved son. The exalted god must be fanned for a period after this long voyage before joining his companion. Officiating tonight is the Brahmin Raju Bhattar. He prepares the offerings with his elder, Brahmin Pupechi. Shiva is fed to gain strength before his long night, banana and coconut as a meal, garlands of jasmine flowers and water as offerings. Then, as every night since the beginning, Shiva will honor his wife Meenakshi in the intimacy of his sanctuary. And so ends a day in the temple of Meenakshi, this very sacred and singular place which has worshipped love since the dawn of time.